Hey, welcome back to Evil's Comics. I'm Evil Mike, and I got a review for you today. Actually, by request from my dude Talkie616, asked me to check out this book. It was already on my list. It actually had a star next to it, but we're going to be talking about the Milestone Initiative, the New Talent Showcase #1, 2023. And it's just like it says, it's basically what it is. It's featuring the new artists and new writers that are a part of the Milestone Initiative who will be writing and drawing for, the Milestone universe. I'm not going to do a traditional review because there was a ton of stories in here. What I will do is I will basically kind of go over the introduction, which was new to me because the Milestone Initiative was recently started. I think back in 2021 they started it, but it really didn't start to show signs until like mid 2022. But there was a lot of different things. Originally it was supposed to be like a black owned, black run, kind of thing. And in the front of the book it states that is the, intent, but it's also they brought in like creators from the Latino community, the AAPI, so it is a mix of people now. The book features, just like on the front cover, stories from all different characters, from Icon and Rocket, my personal favorite, Static Shock. I want to say most everybody's in here, but not everybody. And it does state that this technically all stories aren't, technically in modern continuity with, since they started back in 2021. I will say that the whole book was fire. Every story was really good. The art was excellent. But there were a couple of standout stories. Specifically this one right here. It's called Blood in the Water. This character I'm not familiar with, but it was a character named Aqua Maria, a Latina character, but supposedly just kind of made of water, or has the ability to not only wield water, but she is water too. But not only that, but she could change the type of water. She could go from gassy, she could go to ice. But this story specifically, she ends up saving a bunch of what do you call it? It's a bunch of refugees, and they are being held captive by some bad guys. And she explains that not only is she made water, she can hear like anything that's close to water as well. So she ends up finding out about these refugees that are about to be probably sold into slavery or something like that, and she ends up saving them. There is this moment where this little girl thinks she's a demon. She kind of has to trick her into thinking she's like a god or something like that for her to be saved. But in the end, everything kind of works out. I forget who they're called, but it's like the let me see real quick. I forget who they are. It's like it's the group that are going after ICE, and that's the group that are going after the Bang Babies. But they do show up trying to take her out. We get to see, basically them take her out, and my cat's going crazy. But basically we get to see a lot of her badassness, and put it plain and simple, that's what it was. But not only was this story really fantastic, but there was a lot of like real life touchiness that got me there. I'm not going to say it made me cry or anything like that, but the feelings was definitely there. Like you can see right here, there are some stories featuring hardware. Most of the stories are featuring the main characters that we know and love: Static Shock, Icon, and Rocket. There's a couple where Rocket is by herself. There's one where Icon is by himself. A couple with hardware. There is some introductions of, I believe, to be new characters. 2 or 3. Specifically, I want to say, but I'll show you one real quick that kind of caught my eye, because one's Eben, and it's not, everybody keeps pronouncing it Ebony, that he would have the Y if it was Ebony. It's just Eben. But Eben, as far as I know, we've already seen him in comics, but we haven't got a lot out of him. That's going to be the new Static Shock bad guy. I know he's showing up, like, as far as a cameo. I am one issue behind. I don't know if he's truly shown up. But we do get like pretty much a whole story that's about Evan. I'm trying to look for it, but basically the whole book is 12 different short stories. And here we go. It's called My Brother's Keeper, and this was actually the Fire Stories, was the Evan story, and it was just him trying to save his brother and stuff like that. There is a kind of a first appearance of a villain that kind of turns into a hero. You know, I'm not going to give too much away, but I highly suggest looking into this. Not only for one big thing, right? New talent showcase. This is the first time a lot of these writers and artists, this is their first published work right here. So I mean, spec on that for one. I mean, that's a huge monumental thing to get all these brand new writers and all these brand new artists to do this collab event. Not only that, but the book was fire. And top it off, this is a thick boy. And get this, it's only $3.99. $3.99, and you get all these great stories, great art. I want to say, on my knowledge, most of it does tie into the main continuity, but in the beginning it does state that, you know, it's kind of a give or take. They were basically given like a kind of I forget, an essay, and they basically had to turn the essay into a script, and that determined whether these short stories got turned into, you know, the stories that we have in here. And I will say there was a couple characters that I wasn't, you know, aware of, and there were some that most people know, like I'm trying to remember, is it Blood Syndicate with Tech 9, and we did get to see several of the members from there, but not the whole group kind of thing. But talking, man, if you can grab this, it is definitely like it was a great read all the way through. Every story, I want to say some stories were better than the others, but there was one where it was pretty much like, you know, Icon telling his origin story and stuff like that. Man, I ate that story up. It was so good. If you want to do like a full review, I would have to break it down like maybe 3 a review. If you really want me to touch base on each story, let me know. There are 12 short stories in this book, and they're each like 5-6 pages long. I can do a full done review on each story, but I didn't want to do a whole, because I'd be here for like 30 minutes trying to talk about all the writers, artists, and I will say that somebody from our community is in this book. I had to double check with Mark and Beckerman. Shout out to Legion of Comics and, you know, Comic Vikings. But this does feature one of our community members. Most of the, I want to say 6 of the stories is lettered by Justin Birch. Not all the stories, but, and Justin Birch hangs out with us on Legion of Comics all the time. So to get one of our community members and have his work right in front of me, and I was like, yeah, you know. And I do love Oz inkings. You know, the inking does play, the lettering and the inking does play a part. But hey guys, that's my review, or that's what I'm going to give you for this review. Let me know, did you pick it up? What'd you think of the overall thing? If you're a hardcore Milestone fan and you read this, let me know, because I've never read any of the first Milestone back when they started in the, you know, late 90s or whatever. And my whole knowledge is off of Static Shock cartoon, you know, Woody's showing up in Young Justice, and you know, since 2021 in the Milestone Initiative restart. But hey guys, that's my review. Taki, thanks so much for the request. I love that shit. Let me know if you want to hear the other short stories, but I highly suggest you go pick this up for $3.99. How can you pass? But guys, that's all I got for you. I'm going to let you go.